This is Carl the Cobra Frutch, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Faisal Khan for Lights Out, proudly sponsored by Spartans Law. We're here in, well, not so sunny Manchester today, unfortunately, but I'm delighted to be joined by Sky Sports and Boxer's very own Mr. Big Mo, one of the most up-and-coming rising stars in MCing. Big Mo, welcome back to the UK. Been here for a few weeks. How you doing?
I'm good. I've been here for a few weeks. Definitely, I'm definitely. This is the longest I've been here, so I feel like I'm officially a temporary Brit, and I love London. But I mean, I'm curious. Does the sun come to Manchester? Does the sun exist here? I feel like every time I've been to Manchester, it's been rainy or cloudy or overcast. I'm waiting for some sun in Manchester, but beggars can't be choosers.
We're not going to get that weather we got in Bournemouth a few weeks ago, though, right?
True that. I love Bournemouth. I'd say London's probably my favorite city, but Bournemouth has a special place in my heart. I love Bournemouth.
Yeah, you and me both, mate. Definitely love going down to Bournemouth, and looking forward to when Sky Sports and Boxer put on their next show, hopefully sooner rather than later, because we've only got a few months left of the summer. But let's talk about why we're here. Second time in less than a year, you're going to be announcing an undisputed fight featuring Savannah Marshall. It's a second chance for her to win all the marbles. What have you made of the sort of build-up between her and Franchon Crews-Dezurn? And do you think that maybe Franchon might have got under her skin at yesterday's presser?
I think it was great. I love that they got into it. I think it's good for the sport to show a little bit of passion, a little bit of fiery sometimes, especially for an undisputed championship fight. You know, I remember when Franchon called out Savannah Marshall that night at the O2 after Shields Marshall. And if someone deserves it, I do believe it's Savannah. I think Savannah, look, 13 wins, 10 by knockout. That is an unheard of knockout ratio for the women's division. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, why does Savannah deserve it after Clarissa Shields? Hold on a minute. Savannah gave Clarissa her hardest fight ever. Clarissa, in my opinion, is the greatest female boxer in history and certainly the best female boxer today. So does Savannah deserve another shot at if she wants to go at a different title? Absolutely. So I think it's a great fight. I love that ESPN is picking it up in the States as well. I think it's an interesting matchup between someone that will continue to come forward and is tough like Franchon, but against someone that's got a lot of power like Savannah. So I'm pumped.
When discussing Savannah's first crack at the undisputed title, a lot of people that I've spoken to said that she started off rather slow and that she sort of got into the fight at the later stages. Is it important that Savannah perhaps maybe changes it up on Saturday night and maybe looks to make the quicker start and get ahead on the scoreboard?
Yes, I think that Savannah has the type of power to where if she can lay a couple on Franchon early, she should, because I think she can wear Franchon down. I think that is one thing that's unique about Savannah to a lot of other female boxers, is because she has that power, she can almost win that war of attrition. I do think Savannah is the superior boxer to Franchon, but Franchon is tough as hell and is also the champion, and that does play a role in this. And so I want to see Savannah put forth some heavy shots on her early to see if maybe she can slow Franchon down by the time maybe round 6 or 7 happen. But we'll see. Who knows?
Okay, we're just moving on now. We'll talk about another few matters in terms of Sky Sports and Boxer. As we just mentioned, the trip to Bournemouth was a few weeks ago. Chris Billam-Smith did a thing that a lot of people didn't think he was capable of, but yeah, he beat Lawrence Okoli quite comfortably as well in the end. What would you like to see happen next? Would you like to see Billam-Smith perhaps maybe take on Richard Riakpo, or is the rematch something you want to see first?
Look, if there's a rematch that needs to happen, if that was a part of the agreement, and if Lawrence wants it, it should happen. We should always honor the rematch clause, in my opinion. If not, I want to see Richard go get his belt, and I want to see that rematch to unify. And I would also love to see if Chris Billam-Smith wants to pick up another belt. Who knows? You know, I think Masternak wants to get involved again. Opataya sounds like he's ready to fight, and I think Goulamarian, it sounds like, wants to get active again. This cruiserweight division is about to really pick up pace in a division where I think it's kind of been forgotten over the years. In my opinion, the cruiserweight division, is the most competitive division right now in the sport. Obviously, outside of like the lightweight and maybe even the middleweight division. But I love the cruiserweight division right now. I want to see a unification start to happen. It's time to bring those belts together, and I think now is the time to do it because we have the stars that are young enough to be able to do it.
You say that the cruiserweight division has sort of come to light, and that's one thing Sky Sports and Box have really focused on, is sort of lifting the cruiserweight division. And you just mentioned Riakpor's not far off a world title shot. Bill Smith is a world champion. Coley will come again. And Sky Sports and Boxer, those three fighters are with Sky Sports and Boxer. So is it fair to say that within the next sort of 18 months we could perhaps be looking at some big unified fights in the UK?
Absolutely. I think the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is that Richard Riakpor, Chris Smith rematch to unify. I think that's an amazing show. I think that sells out definitely an arena. Depending on if you do it in Bournemouth, it definitely sells out a stadium. We've proven that. But that's the fight I think that everyone wants to see. I think Richard is someone that is ready for a belt right now. And I know he's ready for a belt right now. There's a reason why he re-signed with Boxer and Sky. He understands what they're doing with the cruiserweight division. It's time to bring some of those cruiserweight belts here to the domestic scene, where, in my opinion, where they belong. The best cruiserweights are in this country, and I think you have a lot of belts that are spread out all around right now, and I think it's time to bring them home.
Big Mo, 1 month to go for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world.
About time.
The fight that everybody's been wanting to see. I mean, have you had a chance to sort of watch the press conferences and the build-up to it?
A little bit. Look, I'm upset that it's happening now, but I'm happy it's happening now. I think it's overdue, but in fairness to them, good for them to be able to put this together. I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. You know, I think going into Tank Garcia, I think I was pretty comfortable that it was going to be Tank, right? This fight's a hell of a lot closer, obviously. These guys are absolutely champions on their own right. This is what an undisputed fight is. Certainly the number one and the number two in this area, in this division. I don't know. I love Terence Crawford. I would probably lean towards Crawford, but ever so slightly. You flip a coin, in my opinion.
It's a fantastic fight. You got two of the best fighters in the world right now. I personally look at Spence's inactivity, and I think that could be a problem. I hope it don't, because Spence right now is my favourite fighter, but I love watching Bud Crawford as well. I mean, hopefully it's going to be a fantastic fight. Could we perhaps be looking at maybe a rematch in a trilogy if the first fight lives up to the expectation?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, whenever you have these big fights like that, I feel like rematches are always going to be talked about and considered, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, I'm pumped.
The smaller weights are leading the way right now. We have got some fantastic potential fights up at heavyweight. Tyson Fury's next fight is going to be a game changer, according to Frank Warren. Alexander Usyk's going to be probably fighting Daniel Dubois. There's talks of a rematch between Joshua Dillian White. Ruiz and Wilder want to get it on. There's perhaps a big showdown happening in December in Saudi Arabia. Big Mo, talk to me about what you think about the current status of the heavyweight division right now.
Disappointing, but I have incredibly high hopes because of who's involved in it. This is the strongest we've seen the heavyweight division, in my opinion, in 20, 30 years, right? We have guys that very easily all could be undisputed, in my opinion. We have guys that have been, or excuse me, not guys that have been, but we had guys that have had multiple belts, let me rephrase, unified champions, not undisputed. So I want to see it happen. And what's great is I think you could pair the four of them up in different ways and they'd all be great fights. If you gave me Wilder Usyk, I'd watch that, and gave me AJ Fury, I'd watch that. I'm not sure I'd want to watch Fury Wilder again. I think I've seen that enough. I've seen Usyk AJ enough. But if you move the pieces around, I would love to watch them in any way. And I think fair play to them. Whoever fights first will gain a massive amount of fans just because we're sick of the inactivity. Let's see a fight. I don't care. At this point, I don't care who fights. I want to see one of them fight a good fight. I don't want to see any of them take a layup. I want to see them challenge themselves. I understand why the money's there. I understand all that. But at this point, man, the boxing market needs the heavyweights. We can't let just the smaller weight divisions have all the fun. We want to see someone get knocked the hell out, man. We want to see a drag-em-out fight. The heavyweights have always led the charge for boxing. And let's get this thing going, man. I want to see it happen.
Big Mo, before I let you go, look directly into that camera and tell me why the viewers need to tune in for this Saturday night's Undisputed fight.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, undisputed championships are few and far between, especially in today's era of boxing. There's always so much negotiation, always so much talk, but the women are leading the charge. We saw it happen last year with the biggest fight in women's history. We've seen Taylor Serrano. We saw Taylor Cameron. Guess what? Now it's Marshall Franchon Crews-Dezurn live on Sky Sports, live on ESPN. Lights Out has all the coverage. I'll see you guys in the ring. Make sure you follow myself, make sure you follow Boxer, and make sure you follow Lights Out Boxing.